Hi everyone, welcome to Michael Sanders' Go Sees show. And here I am with my beautiful, gorgeous Go See of the day, Bella
Hi.
Oelmann.
Yes,
And in
exactly.
case you guys are tuning in for the first time, feel free, this is YouTube, right? So I have to do a shout out at the beginning to subscribe, like, share, and all that good stuff. As you probably know by now, the content of this show is me interviewing the models who come and see me, ostensibly for work. As an Italian Elle photographer, I'm always casting for things. And I'm taking advantage of the situation to give back, actually, to show that there's much more to these lovely models and the pictures in the magazines than meets the eye. And I've always enjoyed talking on set. That's the reason, essentially, why I do this.
Oh, okay.
You know, it's just an excuse. The photography is an excuse to meet
talk
people
a little more.
and to have a human exchange. So
That's great.
I've decided to do it full time.
Perfect.
So here we are. Let me ask you the first question, which is, where are you from?
Okay, so I'm from Germany and I was born and raised in Berlin.
Okay. Your parents are who and what do they do?
My parents are German as well.
Yes.
My dad is actually from the south of Germany, my mom from the north.
Mm-hmm.
And they met in the center in Berlin.
Okay, now what towns, cities did they come from originally?
So my mom comes from Lübeck,
Mm-hmm.
which is up in the north on the east. Like northeast.
Mm-hmm.
And it's where the famous marzipan comes from.
Shit.
Yeah. So I kind of
That's
grew
amazing.
up with eating marzipan pretty much every day.
Wow.
Because my grandparents still live there.
Now, marzipan is essentially made from almonds.
Almonds and a lot of sugar.
So where are these almonds grown?
Good question. I've
You
never
see,
thought about that.
I never associated almonds with Germany, I've got to say.
No, I've never thought about that actually. I was just like, it comes from there and
Do
I
they
was
grow them?
happy.
They must grow them. Why would they?
Yeah, it
why
has
would
to,
they
because
invent
that's
it
where the
that-
famous marzipan comes from. Niederegger, have you heard from that?
No, but it sounds great.
Yeah.
What
it's
is it?
Literally the best. That's a company name.
Oh,
Niederegger.
okay. And
It's a famous marzipan.
were they the originators? Were they the very first? Or did they just do it best?
That's a good question.
Because
I know that they are like really famous for it, and everyone that eats marzipan wants to eat Niederegger.
Is there one in New York?
No, I don't.
Is
think
there
so.
one anywhere else outside of Germany? If one was
I don't
to,
think so.
but you can buy online.
Yeah.
Okay, check it out. I don't know even how to spell that. Do you want to give us a quick
Okay.
spelling?
Yeah, I'm trying. So Nieder and then Egger.
Fantastic. Now you look Scandinavian, don't you?
Yeah, a lot of people say that.
So do you think was it your mother or father who was southern?
My dad.
And your mum was from the north?
Yeah, exactly.
Could it be possible that some Scandinavian...
Nah, we have thought about
No.
that already because a lot of people come to us and ask us about that.
Mhm.
But no.
What do they do?
So my dad, he's a tax lawyer.
Fantastic.
And my mom, she has a relocating company and is a pharmacist.
Pharmacist first,
Yes.
by vocation?
She studied chemistry.
Yes.
So, but then she ended up never doing anything with chemistry, and then she built up her own company, which is a relocating company. So people that come to Berlin from big companies, when they get employees, she kind of sets up the family, like finds a school for the children, gets like their car stuff done, and
How fantastic.
all that governmental stuff as well.
How did she get into that? You don't know. Was all
I'm
this
not
before
quite-
your time?
Yeah.
Are you an only child or do you have siblings?
No, I have 2 older sisters.
Oh, wow.
And I have 1 half brother and another half sister.
Okay,
So
so
we're 5 in total. We're a
there was
big
remarrying
family.
going on at
Yes,
some point.
My dad.
So your parents split up? Or was that the family before you?
Luckily.
You're the second family?
Yes,
Luckily.
I'm the lucky second family. My family is still
Poor
together.
first family. We have to feel bad for the first
Yes.
families. So
But-
are you close with those first families'
I am.
kids?
Yes, we're very close.
Were they jealous of
Yes,
you?
yeah.
Have you managed to make that okay over
Yeah.
the years?
We have.
That's fantastic.
There was quite big problems during the time where my dad got with my mom.
Mm-hmm.
And but I think now everyone is grown up, and I think they're over it now. So
Okay.
we got it all sorted out.
Has that coloured any of your attitudes to love, marriage, and relationships? Or is it a blank page for you? Is there any baggage attached?
Yeah, because I didn't because I'm the youngest from all, so I didn't really experience all the bad stuff that kind of happened. But I still had that kind of weird relationship with my siblings at first, with my half brother and half sister. When I was younger, it was all a bit weird, and I didn't really feel like we were that connected. But now, as I got older, and I think they got older as well, we kind of get along really well, and I think no one is really thinking about it anymore, and it's just trying to get it out of the way.
Did it make you think about your own situation
Yeah.
later on in life
I
and
want to
how
marry
you would?
once in my life, and I
Wow.
want to stay with my husband.
But if it doesn't
Forever.
happen that way, if for some reason the fates have it that it's proving
Yeah, that would be
it's,
bad luck.
that it's a
huh?
hard proving ground.
And I
How-
think it is, but I think
Is there
a
an
lot of
easy way of
people-
doing it? Is my
I think
question.
a lot of people give up too fast, and I
Okay.
think that's a problem.
And you're a soldier.
Yes, I am a soldier.
What star sign are you?
Capricorn.
The soldiery.
Yep.
Steadfast. One foot in front of the other.
Yeah.
You'll get it done.
If I have something in mind, I'll get it done.
So growing up with a new family, with your siblings, was it fun? How are you different from them? Are you different from them?
Yeah, the funny thing actually is,
Mm-hmm.
so me and my two sisters were all like totally blonde. We never had to color our hair, like that's our natural color. All blue eyes,
People would know that you're sisters.
100%.
Is
And
it Chekhovian, the three sister dynamic?
Yeah.
It is.
And if my mum comes with us, like everyone thinks we're four sisters.
Oh wow, because your mum's the same. So
She looks exactly
So
the same.
you all look like your mum.
Yeah, we all look like our mom. We have some little things from our dad. Like I have the lips of my dad, and I have the eyes of my mom. But I think I have the nose of my dad.
Okay.
So I have some things. But my mom is she's blonde, she's tall, she has light eyes, and although my dad has the blue eyes, so we all got our eyes. From
okay.
him. My mom has the green eyes.
Oh wow, that's nice.
So, but I think if we all stand together, you pretty much know that we're all
Okay.
family.
And are your sisters as good looking as you are?
Yes, for sure.
Do they model?
No, unfortunately not.
Now, was there any reason for that?
Yes. They were both like, we never want to quit on any food in our lives for modeling.
Okay, they like to eat.
I love to eat.
So
It was
how do you deal with
pretty
that?
hardcore for me as well. So last year when I started modeling when I
Only?
decided to do it full time.
Okay, let's go back to the beginning of that.
So I finished
Let's-
school
Yes. At what age?
2015.
You had an affluent, upper middle class, tax lawyer's daughter upbringing.
Yeah.
There wasn't any
And-
sense of lack
No.
in terms of material things. You went on holidays? Where did you holiday?
My dad he's amazing. So he always wanted us to see the world. So every year, we never did any holidays over the year, but then always over Christmas and New Year's Eve, he planned like a 3-week amazing trip. So every end of the year, we did it now for, I guess like 7-8 years ago, he started doing it. And we went to the most amazing place. We started with Cuba.
Mm-hmm.
We went to did an amazing trip through like Vietnam, Malaysia, Cambodia, Singapore. We went to the Maldives. We went to Africa, did a safari there, and saw Zanzibar.
Amazing. Who chose these destinations?
My dad,
Okay.
he did it all.
You
He
just said
surprised
yes.
us- yeah.
You just said yes, please. Thank you very much.
Yes. And we were all so excited. For us, it was the most, because we all travel all the time. So
The
we
three
were never...
daughters
Yes.
and your mum
And
as a
we all-
family.
we all do.
Okay.
So over the year, we never really had like really family quality time. And we are a very close family. Like we do everything together if we can.
Is that because both parents are working, busy, having careers?
Yes, and because we are. Like both of my sisters moved out when they were 14, went to a boarding school in England. So
Which one?
Both.
Which boarding school?
They went to in England.
Yes.
Both.
Do you know the name?
Yeah. Something with A. One went to Buxwood.
Okay.
And the other
Public
one
school?
went to, no, it was like I don't know. I don't think it was a public school. Boarding school.
Yes. Well, we call them public schools.
Ah.
And they're actually private schools.
Yeah.
Yes. Of course they were. Public schools, yes.
Yes.
Eton, Harrow, the big English public schools are actually private schools and very difficult to get into and extremely expensive.
And why do they call them public school?
That's a very good question. I'll look into that.
Okay,
I'm
going to
Google that
after.
Let's Google it. Let's Google it together.
After this one.
Okay, so why didn't you get shipped off? And how did
Because I never wanted. I was such a mom and dad's little girl. I never wanted to leave home, and I was scared of leaving home.
As a
baby, because I went to school. I was very lucky. Both of my sisters, when they went to school, there was no really good international English school in Berlin.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was going to school, when I was getting into first grade, the Berlin International School opened, which is an international school. So all the subjects are in English. So I grew up in an English school. So from preschool onwards, I had all my subjects in English.
Wow, that's why you speak so well.
Yeah, and both of my sisters went to England to learn English, whereas I was able to stay in Berlin. And
was that your father?
Great.
Again, was that your father's design that he wanted them to speak English?
Yes, he always said it's very important to speak English, to understand the rest of the world, to get to know new cultures, religions. It's just what you have to. It's just the language you have to know.
Did they resent being shipped off to boarding school?
They loved it. They wanted. They asked my parents to.
Oh wow! So they're independent.
They were. Yeah.
More independent than you are?
No.
You're independent too.
Now.
Okay.
It took me a while. They already were independent with 14, 15. It took me until I was 18 to start to be like, okay, I have to leave home now.
So as the baby, you were favored generally?
Never. My parents always, they were like, they treated all of us completely equal, and it was very important to them that whatever one gets, the other gets, and the other gets.
Do you think your mother or father were the greatest influence on your worldview, attitudes to life? Or is it more mysterious than that?
Yeah, because it's actually very interesting. They've both been doing, I think, the best job ever, because my mom was always the one that kind of came and she took us in the arm, and she was like the one that if we felt bad, she kind of
was nurturing.
Yeah, she was nurturing and made us feel really good. And whenever we had problems with friends and stuff like that, she's more the one that is very caring and loving and tells you that you're great and that you don't have to be sad about things. Whereas my dad, he does it he says the same things, but in a completely different way. He's more structured. He's more like, so if you do this, these are the consequences. These are the benefits. These are the disadvantages. This is just like how life is. And he's so if we need like real advice and we need someone to tell us
right.
What should we do right now, he will be there and he will tell us and he will give us which is amazing, because sometimes you just come home and you're like, I totally fucked this up and whatever, and he will be like, you didn't, because there is this you can still do and there's this. Whereas my mom would be like, oh, it's all fine, don't worry, you know.
So he's a realist, a pragmatist. And your mum's more emotional, is that what you're saying?
My dad he's getting more emotional the older
as he gets older.
He gets so emotional now. I've never seen him cry when I was young, and now he's so emotional. Even like in TV series when he watches people like The Voice of Germany or something, and you see people sing, and he's just like sitting there saying, oh, this is so beautiful.
That's fantastic. So you were lucky.
Yeah.
Do you consider yourself extremely lucky to have been born to those parents in that circumstance?
More than lucky.
I look on your Instagram and you mention all of that international travel. It seems to me that you're just continuing the dream life that you were bestowed as a child.
Yeah. No, really, when I finished school and I spent because I never changed school. So I was from preschool until IB2. I had the International Baccalaureate, which I did.
Wicked.
I just stayed in Berlin. I never moved home. We always we're living in the same apartment since I'm born.
Wow.
So I was very base, and I was in a very safe environment.
Yes.
And it was just all very convenient. And then with 18, I was just first of all, I don't really know what I love right now, what I want to study, and I don't want to go somewhere and just study something just for the sake of it, because people say we have to study right after school, and because it's kind of the pressure by society. I was like, that's not what I want to do. Actually, the only thing I really love right now is traveling, seeing the world, meeting new people. That's what I really love. And I just want to continue that. So I started modeling when I was 13, actually.
Is that a good age?
It's too young. But I just did it because I really enjoyed it. And I thought like, oh, amazing. I get some extra pocket money, from what I get from my parents. And it was just really fun to do it.
Let's talk about the nuts and bolts of that process.
Mm-hmm.
So how did it begin? You were
So,
scouted walking down the street.
My
you know.
mom, she modeled when she studied to earn her, to kind of pay her studies.
Because she was a beautiful woman.
She was. She still is.
Of course.
And so, I don't know, one day I found her little comb card and I was like, wow, Mom, this is amazing. And I was so excited. And then I started doing photos with my best friend and she always took photos of me and I really enjoyed it and started posing and stuff like that.
What age was this?
13.
Okay,
Around 12, 13.
Okay. But were you aware of fashion previous to that? As a little girl?
Yeah, I always loved clothes and I always wanted to choose my own clothes and do all of that stuff.
Because of your mum, were there fashion magazines around the house? Or not?
Yeah, there were some, but not a lot. We never really have a lot of fashion.
You didn't
magazines,
subscribe to the
no,
local German Vogue or whatever, no.
But that's just how it started. And then my mom was like, if you really want to do it, I'm not a mom that makes her child do something. If you want to do it, I give you a contact number of someone I've worked with. She has an agency now. Contact her, email her, and if she writes back, then cool. So I was like, okay, Mom, I'll do it. So I sat down and I typed on the laptop what I wanted to say. I was like, hi, I'm Bella. I'm the daughter of Angelica.
What was this agency called?
Younger Models.
It was a child modelling agency?
It's a child modeling agency.
Okay, because you were
in Berlin.
sort of underage at 13.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they took me right away, and that was amazing. And my mom always said, as long as you're good in school, you're allowed to do it.
So what was it actually? What was the crux of the interest? Was it money? Was it attention? Was it excitement?
Excitement.
It was the excitement, the promise of what it could be.
Yeah, I was just I think I love just wearing clothes
You're an extrovert.
and then meeting new people. And
You're an extrovert. I know you're open and confident. That's obvious.
Yeah.
Do you like to show off and like attention?
No, I hate that.
How can you do it?
Getting too much attention.
How do you do that? I mean, it must be very hard for you to walk down any street in summer, scantily clad as you are, and not get attention. That's an impossibility. So you've had to find a way to deal with that attention. But I'm wondering why, even as a young child and into adolescence, you were probably getting that kind of attention anyway, because you're obviously a pretty child, because you're a beautiful woman. So was it that you were just used to that attention and grew up with it? Or what? Because it must have changed
maybe.
to now you're used to dealing with the attention. Sorry about that. Let me mute this.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe it was because I was a bit used to it. Because I was the youngest, and everyone always obviously
Yes, you were
you little
cute.
cutie,
Yeah.
and oh, you're so adorable. And,
Oh shit, I can't.
but
Let's go away. Okay, let's ring it off. Ring her off. There it is.
And yeah, maybe it was that, but I think I also just got used to it that it was my job. But as soon as I'm out of my job and I get too much attention, it kind of freaks me out as well. So it's funny because people always ask why? Because sometimes people come and want to take pictures of me and I'm like, I don't want it. And then they're like, that's your job. I'm like, I know, but it's somehow different if I'm at work. It's just normal for me and I just stand in front of the camera and I just do it. And it's just it's different than
It's still doing it.
if I'm in my personal,
Yes.
my personal...
I'm going to maybe put this under the bed.
or put on the moon.
How do I do it on the moon?
Wait.
Oh, the moon. Okay.
This helps.
Thank you for that. Is that done now then?
It should be.
Okay.
Should
Is
we
there a
do it here
moon
as
on
well?
the iPad? Sort us out. Oh.
I think that should be fine now.
Thank you. So, all right, 13, child modelling.
Yeah.
And then how did that transition to adult modelling happen?
So with 15, there was a photographer that came up to me in Berlin at Zara when I went shopping with a friend. And he was like, oh, I have this amazing guy I know. He owns an agency in Hamburg. He's the best agency in Germany. And so one day my mom came with me to Hamburg and we went there.
You contacted him again?
So no, that photographer.
Oh, he set it up.
He set it up.
Okay.
So,
it was Ingo?
It was Ingo.
There you go.
And since then he's my mother agent, and not only that, he's like my best friend as well. Like, because I kind of, with 15, I kind of grew up with him, and his agency was also just, it wasn't that old. 5 years, I think, or 4 years back then. So I kind of grew with the agency as well.
That's
and
good.
with him. And so I cannot imagine any better mother agent than Ingo right now. And I'm very lucky because I know a lot of girls, they don't have that close relationship to their mother agents.
Good old Ingo. Shout out to Ingo, mate.
Exactly.
You did good.
You did very good. And
But how could you go wrong? I mean, it's not so hard, really.
yeah,
You just have to say yes to the gift that comes through the door,
Exactly.
really. I mean, let's face
that's
it.
true. But it's not a lot of girls are that lucky with their mother agents. They don't have that close relationship, and so they feel they kind of always have to do what the mother agent wants, and they sometimes get into like weird, not fights, but arguments, and sometimes girls don't feel that comfortable. And I'm very lucky because I can talk with him about everything and all the concerns I have and everything I really want to do and I want to work on, and he kind of like helps me with all of it, and he always supports me, and so that's really great. And all the downs I already had in those 2 years now, he kind of always gets me out of them and like always pushes me to get.
Let's talk about the downs.
Yeah.
So for a young model starting out, what are the pitfalls? What are those downs? Are they emotional downs? Are they what? Describe
Yeah. So when I
is.
finished school, I weighed too much. So I had just
Did your
too many
father,
kilos.
before we talk about that, your parents were okay, your father was okay with you modelling, obviously.
Yeah.
He supported you completely?
He's always supported me with whatever I want to do.
Right. So that wasn't an issue? He didn't mind that you didn't go to secondary education
I
and
think
onto university?
He would have loved if I would have studied law, because he said I have always an argument against everything.
Yes, you're born to do that.
I'm very like,
Yes.
you know?
Argumentative?
Yeah. So he was like, oh, I think it would be just amazing if you would study that. But he never really made me feel like I had to.
Mm-hmm.
He was more like, I know that he would have loved that I would do it. But now he's more like, you know what? You can be like independent. You're traveling the world. Like, there's nothing better than that right now.
Right, of course, yes.
Yeah, and that's what I love.
He schooled you in that.
Yeah, exactly.
Why would he not appreciate you traveling the world?
Exactly. It's actually him that made me do it. So.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So let's go back to the weight issue. Was it puppy fat? Was it,
No,
you hadn't...
It was just really school. Like, I think literally every night when I studied for my final exams, I ate a bar of chocolate.
As comfort food?
Every night, yeah.
To raise your serotonin?
Yeah, and because I'm someone, I can study really good at night. So I would always start studying at 10 p.m. until 4 a.m.
You're joking.
I'm like, that was the time I was studying.
You needed your sleep as a young growing
but
teen.
That's not what I did.
Wow.
So I kind of... It's got me awake with like black tea with a lot of honey and
sugar,
bar of chocolate and like cookies, and I ate horribly. And so also my mom back then was not the best cook. Sorry, Mom.
So you supplemented good nutrition with candies and chocolate.
But like also the food she did was mostly like
you didn't like your mom's
noodle
cooking, right?
Stuff with a lot of cheese and like a lot of ketchup.
Highly calorific.
And,
Okay.
So
your
it was
mum
delicious.
made you...
I loved it, but it was very calorific.
Okay. So how did you cope with that? So what happened? What was the strategy?
Yeah, so I started doing diets all the time, and I was like, it didn't work, and I never really wanted to because I love sweets. I love chocolate till death.
So do I. What kind of chocolate? Belgian or Swiss?
Good question.
I'm a Belgian chocolate
Do you know
guy.
Lindt?
Yes, Lindt is very...
What
that's
is Swiss, right?
That's Swiss.
Yeah.
And sort of milk chocolatey, right? Or do you
No, that's what I loved back then. I couldn't eat anything else than milk chocolate, but now I really love dark chocolate.
Okay, you've got into it.
I got really into it. Yeah, so...
Practice makes perfect.
Exactly. Yeah, and so I was like, okay, so once I finished and I graduated, I was like, okay, I want to travel. I know that for sure. I want to do the modeling, but I'm like 10 kilos over what I should be. So literally, I don't know what happened in my head, but from one day to another, I had like a switch that turned over, and I stopped eating bread, and I love bread. I didn't eat any bread anymore. I didn't eat any potatoes anymore. I didn't eat any rice anymore. I just ate berries, no other fruits than that, because berries had from the sugar content, they're the best. So I had nothing else other than berries. I ate
Nuts? Too fattening? With the
nuts,
fat?
but a little. I had like from every nut, like 3. I wouldn't eat any more than 3.
Did you become vegan?
No, never.
Okay.
I love meat and fish.
Yes.
But I started eating just 3 times a day with always 5 hours in between. And in those 5 hours, I wouldn't eat a single thing.
What about exercise
No
as part of
snacking.
the regime?
I didn't do any exercise
You're
when
not
I
an
started.
exercise person.
I started this year.
Okay.
I've become extremely into it. Like now I
What-
exercise all
what
the
do you
time.
do?
I love boxing.
Oh, wow.
I do a lot of yoga every morning.
I love
do
yoga.
half an hour to an hour yoga every
That's great.
morning.
So you're super healthy and fit.
Yeah, now.
Okay.
Because last year when I started that diet, it took me like 2-3 months, nothing happened. I didn't lose a gram. I got so frustrated. I was like, I hate this shit. I don't want to do this anymore. I was like, it's just not me. It's just not what my body wants. I'm never gonna lose weight. And then after those 2-3 months, suddenly I went onto the balance, and every single day I lost 200 grams, and it went like do, and I fell in like 4 months. I lost 10 kilos, and but in a really, because I kept my diet and I had like big portions when I ate, but it was always like a healthy meal. And so
Was it essentially salads and meat?
and a lot of veggies. It was a high protein diet,
Okay.
high protein. And
What was your meat of choice?
chicken.
White.
And
You didn't do thigh or... You didn't do dark meat?
oh, I did.
Okay,
I also
okay.
love it, but it was just like chicken was just like the easiest.
Yes, sure. Of
Always
course,
and the best,
absolutely.
fastest way of doing things.
So now, your weight that you're at now, what is your natural weight? What is anyone's natural weight? Because look at me, how skinny I am. I've always been an ectomorph. I could never put on weight. I'm metabolizing stuff quickly and my brain is always
Lucky
going.
you.
I know.
I would love to have that, actually, because I love eating burgers and I love fries
Yeah.
and I love sweets and I love all the bad stuff for you.
So what do you think is your ideal weight?
Now, because last year when I started that, my weight fell and fell and fell, and I kind of got obsessed with losing it, weight.
Can it be a dangerous,
got
tricky
it-
thing?
yes,
You can
for
become
sure.
obsessive?
Yes, I got very obsessive with it, and I know that for sure. And that was like a struggle in my career, because then everyone told me, oh, you're weighing too much, you can't do it. Then I lost all that weight. I went to Australia. I was the first time away from home, and I lost more and more weight. And then they started saying, you're too thin, you can't work. And I'm like, wait, like I was too thick. I lost weight, now I'm too thin. It's like, what's going on?
Did you stop eating?
I didn't stop eating, but I
Okay.
ate very little, like very little. Also
It was
because
a kind of starvation.
kind of, and it was because I was first time away from home. I think there was no one that really was like, what are you doing, you know? I was just on my own, and I had to like pay everything for myself, and it was just like I went to a grocery store, and everything in Australia seemed so expensive, so I was like, I
You were
went into a
saving money.
grocery store and I
Yes.
went out with nothing.
Right.
And but then when I came back home, my family was like, this is not good. And my sister, I love her to death, she's like the one that always helps me with everything, and she was like, nope, that's not my Bella, and that's not how you should look like, and I know that's not the healthy you. And she helped me change that, and she introduced me to a personal trainer, and I started working out with him a lot. And then through the working out, I started eating again properly and normally, and I felt like I was allowed to eat because I'm working out. I had
Right.
that balance, so I didn't feel like I'm not allowed to eat because I'm not moving, but I felt like the more I worked out, the more I was allowed to eat.
So was there a time when you doubted that you actually were suited for the job and that you could do it? In this period of feeling that you were too heavy for the job? You didn't ever think of quitting?
Oh, I did when I wasn't able to lose, when it took me that 3 weeks. But I also thought, like last year I went to New York for the first time, and I introduced to agencies, and every agency I went to rejected me. And I was like, what's going on? And I just bursted out in tears, and I was alone in New York, and I was calling my mom. I was just like, what's going on? Because as a model, you get a lot of rejections all the time, and you always just have to be very strict with yourself and don't take it personally. But I'm a person, whatever people tell me, I take it personally right away. So that's also where Ingo kind of helped me as well a lot, because he was always like, stop taking it personal. Like every second model gets a rejection, and just something normal that happens. And especially in New York, it's like, it's a very tough city. And
Is that because you're essentially thwarted in your huge ambition?
I think so, because I'm someone.
So it comes from having big ambitions,
exactly.
and
I
if you
have big
can't
dreams,
achieve them, yes.
And if they don't work out the way I want them to, then it makes me very sad, and it frustrates me insanely, and I don't know, I just struggle with myself a lot. I'm just someone, even though people tell me all the time, and I hear, oh, you're so beautiful, and you're just so, you get everything you want in your life, and everything happens the way you want. I'm like, no, it doesn't. And it doesn't really, I don't really think that of me. I'm very critical with myself, very. So as soon as something doesn't really happen and I get rejections over and over again, I really struggle with keeping up. But I actually read a book right now called The Law of Attraction.
Yes.
The Secret of Life. And I think that helped me a lot, because it says that whatever you think, that's what you attract. And because I've always thought that, I went into a casting, I was like, I'm not going to get this anyways. That's every time. That was my attitude towards castings.
Now, where did that come from, this negative thinking and defeatism?
Because I always thought I wasn't good enough. And
where does that come from?
That's a good question. I think that's just the pressure that I put on myself.
Right. You're self-critical.
I'm
and a perfectionist.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a terrible curse.
Very, that's exactly how I am, actually.
So, has the law of attraction philosophy managed to change those brain neuro pathways that have been obviously set for quite a while?
Yeah, I've just read it 2 weeks ago, and I feel like now it actually did help me, because every time when I think negative, I'm like, stop it. When you think negative, that's what will happen.
So think positive. It was very useful because it made you conscious, at least, of how you were thinking negatively.
Exactly.
And what do you do to change that?
I felt like, obviously I never got a casting, and obviously I never get jobs, and obviously I was always rejected from agencies because I was thinking that. And then that's what you attract if you think that.
So how do you deal with the positive shift that I am going to get this and you don't get it? What's that going to do?
That's a good question.
Because there's also the idea...
I think just today, actually, I went into a casting. I was like, I'm going to get this. And I went in there and they were like, you can leave now. And I was like, okay. So then again, you're like struggling. You're like, I don't know. But then I feel like maybe there was some little bit in me that still didn't really think
and
that
that's where the belief thing comes into it. Because it's very easy to rationalize and say, I'm going to think positively. But actually to believe it.
Exactly.
To have the really true faith in yourself.
Exactly, and I think that's what I'm still missing.
Okay, how are you going to get that? Because you realize you've made a real box for yourself, a golden prism of the law of attraction. Because every time you go out, you're going to be testing that law, and when it doesn't deliver,
I know.
Because there isn't that deep-seated belief.
Exactly, there's something still missing. Yeah.
There is something still missing. So
I really want to work on it. I really want to get and just, I don't know, just make myself believe more in me and in what I'm doing. Because it's also, I sometimes just have the feeling that there are not a lot of people that actually believe in me or that are around me.
Is that true? What about your mum and dad?
No, that's the thing. Always when I say that, they're like, we all believe in you. And it is my mom and my dad that believe in me, and my sisters and my best friends. But I feel like the people in this industry, that they don't really believe in me.
Let's have a look at your book.
This present.
I want to see what this is about. We're going to sort you out. What do you want? So what would be making it for you?
Okay, so what will really make it for me is just working for bigger brands, because I think people have really pushed me into like e-commerce.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that where models start off? Isn't that just part and parcel
Yeah,
of the...
I think so. But I think they really put me into that little box and don't believe in me doing anything else. And I know I can do editorial, and I know I can do like beauty stuff, and I know I can do different things. But I feel like people don't really believe in me doing that.
So, looking at your book immediately, you are the sex bomb blonde body. I mean, you're talking about your body, but this is as good as it gets, right? I mean, you did well on the diet. That's all I can say. It's a success.
I know, it was hard work. It was hard work.
So that is your wheelhouse, and Victoria's Secret and all of that kind of stuff.
Victoria's Secret is my dream.
It's lingerie, it's swimwear, it's skin, it's body, it's sex. So
and I would love to do like beauty stuff like L'Oreal, or I would love to do Victoria's Secret, or I would love to work for bigger magazines like Vogue or Elle and do stuff like that.
That's where I'd be pushing you.
So these are my
here
dream box
with you now, looking at how you're looking. I see, and I photographed a shit ton load for Italian Elle over the years. Stella Maxwell. Okay? Stella did it. She's working for Victoria's Secret. I mean,
I know.
She has your spot, I must say, because there is a Stella Maxwell, and you look so familiar to her, so that she has that type that she's occupying now and doing very well in. But there are also all sorts of other ways that are responsible for a model's rise. And I remember Stella always being super, super active in the early days of Facebook and Instagram and social media. She was always putting up new pictures of herself, changing her profile pictures on Facebook. I always remember there was this constant activity, feverish activity that she put into it, and working it in social ways, becoming an it girl, getting out into the world and meeting people and making those connections. So what I'm trying to say to you is it's not always just down to the pure physique. It's about how you take on the task at hand and how committed you are to exploring all the various avenues that build a career, because it's, very few models are lucky enough to be able to be plucked and made stars of. Obviously, there are lots like that.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's a bit more complex and mysterious than that, I think. But your attitude is all important. And I think with Stella, when I first worked with her, I did a story where we reversed roles, and it was about her being the photographer. It was really cute.
Fun.
And she was into photography. And so it made great sense for her. But she was such an obvious, cool girl. I mean, she looked a certain way. She didn't look particularly editorial. And therefore, the career that she had with Victoria's Secret makes absolute sense, because she was a bit more commercial, for want of a better word, which is what you are, for want of a better word. Understanding that, really owning it and believing it and living it is the challenge.
And the key.
And there are no rules, but, it is what it is. And you should maximize what you have. That's what I always say. Double down, triple down on what you have.
Exactly.
Instead of what you want to be, what you think you should be, or whatever. It's just, know thyself is a very important...
know your strength,
is a very important idea. So, and there's lots of money in that too. And if it is a job, which it is, that can net you a very nice income every year, that's what you should be doing. Instead of looking for some kind of editorial cred or being, the edgy type that you're not.
Exactly, I'm not.
No, cash in, babe.
But then that's what people always try to make me, and I'm like, I don't want that. Like, I went to an agency in London and they wanted to change my complete look, and I was like, that's not me.
Because they thought that's what you needed to work more and be more bookable with clients.
Yeah, exactly. In London especially. And I was like, that's not me. I don't want to bleach my eyebrows and cut my hair short and suddenly wear like gangster t-shirts.
It's not who you are.
It's
not who you are. So that's that. I think we've sorted you It's just being confident and happy
What I've got.
with what you've got, and really understand and be clear about that.
Mm-hmm.
And not try to put yourself into a square peg as a round hole that you are. You know, whatever. You know,
My little round hole.
So let's talk about your love life.
Yes.
Obviously, you're going to be popular with the boys. If you aren't, then I'm not living in the same world as you. I mean, we're in a different universe.
Yeah, I think I'm very lucky. All the guys that I've met so far have been absolutely amazing. But I'm also very
Picky? Are you as hard and perfectionist about your choice of partner?
Yeah.
So
I'm horrible.
So what happened in your teenage years? You were obviously popular. Did you have boyfriends as a teenager? I mean, you're barely out of teenage.
Exactly, but I never had a boyfriend until I was 15.
Okay.
And then with 15, I actually met, which is funny, it was a sibling, no, the twin
Kissing
brother
cousins.
of the boyfriend of my sister.
Isn't
so
that
we
a
were
taboo?
dating twins.
You're joking.
No. But they didn't look alike. They looked completely
They weren't identical
different.
twins.
No.
So you met him through her.
Yeah.
So that's completely organic.
Yeah, and I completely fell in love, and he was my first boyfriend.
He was your first love of your life.
Yes, and I was with him for 4 years.
Okay. I was with my first girlfriend for 4 years. Through those years, exactly the same.
Yeah.
So we thought we could conquer the world and do it differently and beat the odds.
Mess
We
it up.
didn't. You didn't. So why didn't you?
Because when I decided I wanted to travel, I wanted to go to, my first destination was Australia for 4 months. And I knew that after that I wanted to go to London and then New York and LA. And so we sat down, and it already, to the end of those 4 years, because he, a year before that, moved to Paris to study. So we already had a long distance relationship for a year.
Which is difficult.
So it was struggling already. And then when I was like, I'm going to Australia now, we were like,
It's a long way away.
yeah, let's not do this because it will just end up in a fight.
So you did that maturely, and
yes, we're still like really good friends now.
that's amazing.
We still like get along.
Did he have
very well.
other girlfriends after you? And
Yeah, he had a girlfriend.
And
now,
you've kept in touch.
Yeah, we like speak once, not a lot, but once a month, and we ask how he is. He asks me how I am. We talk about things. I still go and see his mom sometimes.
Oh, wow.
And for her birthday, so we're really close. He goes to my family to have breakfast when I'm not there.
Okay, that's
so
great.
we're like we're
that's
still very
nice.
close. Yeah, it's great.
That's amazing.
And then after him, because then I was in Australia, and then I went to London, and then
Did you like Australia?
I loved it.
Did you go to Sydney?
Yes.
You must have worked a lot.
Yes, it's my dream place. I think I would move there right away if it wouldn't be on the end of the world, because I feel so isolated there.
You do. Couldn't you tailor a great life for yourself there, to compensate for the fact that it's the end of the edge of the world?
I think I could have had I could stay there and I would have a great life. And I think I worked there a lot and everything, but I'm so close with my family, and it would kill me not seeing them. And also being there, I loved it, but I somehow felt like I wasn't part of the rest of the world. I was like, what's happening in Europe? What's happening there?
Okay,
It's like,
yeah.
no
And you
one really
were in
talks
the
about
heart
it.
of Europe.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And Berlin is such a cosmopolitan city.
But I love the lifestyle in Sydney. Absolutely love it.
Are you beachy? Are you comfortable with not many clothes on? Yes, that's your state.
Yeah, and I love warm weather.
Yeah.
I hate the cold. I absolutely hate the cold.
Yes. So
because
all those are good things for Sydney.
I'm always freezing like crazy. Even like when it's 20 degrees outside, I would be like shivering like crazy. I have a very...
Is this your first New York winter you're going into?
Mm-hmm.
Well, be prepared.
I know. I'm scared. I'm very scared.
It's scary. You'll get used to it though. So boys, so how do you negotiate being a model, traveling as much as you do, with your boyfriend? And there was a boyfriend outside that dropped you off.
Yeah, so...
But was he a boyfriend?
Yeah.
He was, okay.
So,
tell me the story of that.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
I met always guys when I was traveling. So, when I was in London, nothing happened. But then I went to LA and I met a really great guy and I had the best time with him. And then I left LA and I didn't know when I would come back. So we broke that up. And then I went to Sydney. And in Sydney, I met a really great guy, and we got along very, very well. And he's still like very important to me.
Is the world? Do you have a positive attitude to love and men?
Yes.
Because it seems that
Very
you,
positive.
if the forgive me, if the law of attraction's not working in modeling, it seems to be
in my love life.
doing really well in your love life. Because I think it's because
Maybe.
you're expecting. I mean, it seems quite natural for
being
you to
alone.
say, "Here's a guy. He was a great guy. This one, another one was a great guy." It's not
Yeah, I
like
was
the other models
crazy
who
lucky.
say to me, "I'm attracted to assholes," or you're attracted to really nice guys. They like you. You like them.
And they are
And
so loving and so caring and so I have been extremely lucky. Like every guy I've dated so far was just absolutely amazing.
Is that a reflection of who you are?
I don't know.
In other words, if the law of attraction is that you get what you receive, what you put out, are you as great as they are?
I think I'm very tricky sometimes.
Are you loving?
I am very loving.
Are you?
But I think I'm still very tricky because I say what I think, and if someone annoys me with something,
You don't have a
especially my
filter.
guy, I would be just like, what the fuck are you saying? Or just like, how are you behaving? Or if something in behavior is just annoying me, I would tell them straight away, and I would just
Okay.
like behave the right way, or do this or do that.
Right. You're
So I
critical.
can be very critical and sometimes a bit bossy, I think.
Yes.
But on the other hand, if someone comes up to me and was like, hey, that was a bit much, I'll be like, oh, I'm sorry, like straight away. I
You
think
listen as well.
100%. And then I
That's
also
great
feel
communication.
sorry. Yeah. So it is that the guys are always just like, I think they pretty much knew always how I was, and they were always just like, yeah, and would just like agree.
They put up with you and love you anyway.
Exactly. So I've
You're
been
lucky.
very lucky.
You are lucky.
Yeah, I've been
So,
very lucky. So I met
Yes.
him when I went this year. I went to Istanbul for 3
Oh, yes,
weeks
that's
to work
right.
there. And Ingo, again him, he introduced me to him in Berlin and was like, this is someone, he lives in Istanbul, so whenever something happens, you need someone, here is the contact, because I know Istanbul is tricky at the moment, so I just want you to be safe. So he introduced me to him, and we literally had a 3-minute talk in Berlin. It was like super fast because he had a business meeting, and he was like, hi, I'm Max, nice to meet you. Whenever you need anything, here's my number. Let's hang out in Istanbul. I was
He's
like,
German.
cool. Yeah, he comes from Cologne, but he lives in Istanbul.
Okay.
And then I went to Istanbul, and we met, and we had a really great time together, and we got along so well because he's a very intelligent man, extremely intelligent,
Is that important to you?
very important to me.
How high up the list is that?
Um,
Does it come before looks or after looks?
I would actually say it's pretty much on the same level.
Okay.
Because I hate speaking to people.
You
that
can't
are
just do looks.
stupid. Not at all.
Have you tried?
Yes.
It didn't work out.
No, I absolutely hate it.
Right. Okay.
And I need people that are also like me, that are open,
Uh-huh.
that I could go to events with, and I could sit him down here,
Yeah.
and he would be able to chat with everyone around
Right,
him,
yes.
and I could go there and chat with other people.
Mhm.
I can't do this like, where are you? Can I come with you? Can I go there?
Right.
It's just like, nah, can
Yeah.
you just be yourself?
Yeah.
Just talk and just like, be your, like, I'm not your little babysitter or anything.
Right.
So, and...
Are you high maintenance? Or are you a cheap and easy date? Or are you high maintenance? Even if it's in an emotional way, do you take a lot of... Do you need a lot of energy?
Sometimes I think I do.
Mm.
But
And
not
so
always.
they have energy to give.
Yeah.
They have excess. Excess, they have enough for themselves. And
I hope so. Please don't tell me I'm destroying anyone here.
sucking them dry and succubus, yes.
No. I think they have enough.
Great.
They have. And they're very like they have all been like great. I could just go anywhere with them, and for me what is very important as well is that they have to get along with my family.
So what do you think your mum and dad respond to well in a young man suitor?
My dad loves intelligent people.
It's brains
That's
as well.
for him
Yeah.
very important. My mom is she more looks at how he treats me.
Would you marry someone that your parents disapproved of greatly? You wouldn't. You'd leave the last word to dad. You give him the power of veto over your love life.
No, it's not about that, about what they say, but just about my feeling bringing him to my family.
Uh-huh.
I just love being one.
Wow.
And bringing my boyfriend to my family and knowing that there is something that's not really good, I think that would just like hurt me so much and would just like make me think about it all the time that I couldn't do it, I think.
So what are your favorite parts of this whole fashion lark? What do you love about it? Is it the travel? What do you like on the job of
and
itself?
meeting new people.
That's right.
That's
what
my
I
two
do.
absolute, because I have met incredible, such great, creative, intelligent, funny people, and just getting to know their stories and hanging out with them, talking to them. It's just like, I just love that. And I just love meeting new people.
Yes. So it's the job
And
for
the
you.
travel.
So do you think you were born to model then? All of the law of attraction doubts aside, do you think somewhere deep inside that you think this is me and that this is my fate? This is what I'm going to do?
I think, yeah, part of me does think that. But on the other hand, I love getting further with my head as well and just
It's the ambition again.
learning. I love learning. And
Right.
that's actually why I started doing, and I'm studying an online
Course?
and I have an online course, which is actually here from New York about nutrition.
Oh, wow.
So I'm studying nutrition as well at the moment.
With a view to doing something with it? Or is it just a personal to help your own life?
At the moment, it's just that I love learning about it. And because I'm a really bad foodie, by the way. I go to restaurants pretty much every night because I just love
Food that much.
food that much, and I love seeing new restaurants, tasting new food. I love that. It's like I would spend all my money on going out for dinners rather than buying food or living in a nice apartment. That's how bad I am. So
Wow.
nutrition.
We'll get
is just
into
something
we'll get
very
into that
interesting.
because what do you like about it? You like the social aspect? You're going out.
I love the social aspect.
Do you meet people out at restaurants?
Yeah, I do, but I also go.
You go
always
with your
a
friends,
group. Yeah. I never go. I don't go alone. I don't like that.
What's your dream restaurant that you haven't been to?
There's one place in Tokyo that I really, really want to go to. It's a place that not a lot of people know of. It just has it seats 6 people,
Is it the Hero Dreams of Sushi one?
maybe. Where
There's a documentary,
really old
the Oelmann.
sushi
Yes,
chef-
you have to watch the documentary when you leave here. Go home, Netflix. Hero Dreams of Sushi, about that.
Okay.
It's about that
Yeah.
master sushi master
Yeah,
and
that
his
old
family.
man, exactly.
Yes, that's the one. You have to book 6
Yeah.
months in advance or
I
something.
just want to go there. Very, very.
Great
really.
film.
Yeah, so that's one of the places I really want to experience. And then there are just so many, whenever I get into a city, before I enter that city, I already have a list
Jesus Christ.
full of places. And then in that city, I actually make a list of the coolest places, and I always write it on my phone in my little notes. I have New York restaurants, and I will have all the nice places I know, and I will tell my favorite dish and what I liked about it, atmosphere, cozy, it was romantic, whatever. And I have a full list of breakfast, lunch, dinner places. I have that for LA, I have that for Sydney.
So, given your choice of profession and the huge demands it places on your weight, isn't it an exercise in frustration every time you go to your favorite foodie joint and you can't eat anything but 0.1% of the menu? How do you cope with that? Is it just the
Should
being...
I tell you actually something? I feel like I have reached a weight right now that I don't gain and I don't lose anymore. So
wow.
when I go
You're
out
stable.
for dinners now,
You can eat.
I eat like a maniac, and people always look at me and are like, "How did that fit in
Right,
there?
yes, I know
how
what you
does
mean.
this work here?"
Uh-huh.
And
then
they
you...
always think I'm working out like crazy.
And you don't?
I eat a lot
So you're in a kind of nirvana, perfection now,
right now.
that you
I'm
should
pretty
enjoy.
lucky. Yeah, but that's why I'm putting a lot of, I have to just work out. I have to do my yoga in the mornings. I have to do cardio. I literally walk everywhere. I rarely use Uber or a taxi or the metro. I always walk. I walk kilometers over kilometers every day because first of all, I enjoy walking a lot, especially in New York and cities like these, because I think that's how you actually get to know a city through walking. And so I love doing that, but I know that I have to do that to enjoy my dinner. You know?
It's all about dinner.
It's all about the balance. My whole life is all
about
about my dinner. I wake up in the morning, I'm like, where will I have my dinner tonight?
That's fantastic. Okay, so we've sorted you out.
Yeah.
You are where you are now. Victoria's Secret or Sports Illustrated, those kinds of things. America, big brand,
My
big
dream.
recognition, huge lifestyle that goes with that of eating and enjoying your life. Yes, with your lovely boyfriends.
Yes.
Done. What a great life. You're so
Right?
lucky.
Right?
Yes.
Now I just have to get the full belief in me as well.
That's the key.
And then I'm
What
sorted.
babies when? Do you want children?
For sure. I think 28 is my dream age.
That's the perfect age. Did you know that in certain esoteric philosophies and New Age philosophies, they say that 28 actually is when you become an adult?
Oh, really?
Yes,
Also, I chose the perfect age.
the perfect age. You see, you knew that intuitively.
I knew that, exactly.
Yeah.
I just knew 28
8
was
years.
my age.
You're going to do so well. That's a good place to end it. Let's end the main interview here. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, Bella. You are
for
wicked.
having me.
Thank you again. I have to say at the end of the video that it's YouTube again. If you liked this content, if you'd like to see more of the same, please support it. It's the early days. Bella, say you want them to subscribe, please.
Yes, please subscribe. This is amazing. I love this.
And comment and share.
And comment and share. And share the link. And what else?
That's it.
That's it.
Thank
Just
you
be
so
part
much.
of it.
Thank you so much for giving so much of yourself. You were wicked. We're going to do some other things now. But for
Okay.
the time being, bye everyone. Thank you for joining.
Bye.
Appreciate
Thank you so
it.
much.
Lots of love. Bye.